Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you burp?
Yep.
It's gross.
It's like the third time. I can't believe it's the first time you've said anything. Especially after
This time
eating
it smelled like
Alfredo.
fucking food and stuff.
What?
What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Thesis, aka Thesis himself from Vaping with Thesis ass, right? God bless it.
No,
look. Mother truckers. All right, guys. So real quick, Mandy's gonna go ahead and do the shout outs. I'm gonna share everything to the Facebooks as well as Patreon and Twitter. Look at
I
that.
think you need to. I mean, Mike can share. Oh,
He needs my account. I'll give him my passwords tonight or tomorrow. Go.
I can't. I don't have the video loaded up yet. It
Oh,
hasn't.
goodness gracious, YouTube.
I was gonna say YouTube doesn't have it up yet. There it is.
Bam.
There it is. Now can I chat?
Stay as long. Okay, go ahead. Oh no, I don't even have it loaded up. This is terrible internet.
There we go. We've got Melissa and Erwin.
Edwin. Okay, everyone's saying
it's not working.
Yep, hold on. It's gonna come, guys. I promise. I swear to God, today's a shit show.
Hobeg, Perry, Run Aces, Stu. Our internet is baloney. Maybe I should not be using this. Maybe I should just be on my phone then.
Yep.
All right, let me exit out. Let me shut this computer off. All right, so we're just doing everything different tonight.
Yep. All right, let me share this to book face. Are we not even in focus, you guys? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we were on this shit show. That's not true. Bam. All right, we are golden. She has shared Tony's Big Pulse 2. Tony's Big Pulse.
There we go. Okay.
2. Bam. Amanda,
nope,
was your fucking first day?
Melissa Irwin, Hobeg, Perry Run, Stu, Josh K, yours truly, Chris Vapes, Rick. Yes, Melissa, we did forget to feed the hamster. Our hamster was actually dead earlier. We had to.
I was gonna say,
him.
I didn't think we were gonna be able to do it tonight because I was gonna run it from the iPad, which would have been a horrible idea, to be honest with you. Okay.
Austin, Mary Rose.
I forgot to put the giveaway shit into the fucking title. Damn it, Manda. What is it? My first day?
Yep. Every time. Every week.
I know.
Chris Vape says, "Get your shit together, bruh."
Bitch, it's okay, mother truckers. Now that we begin, we've got the legendary man himself, Tony B. Huge shout out to him. We've been waiting for 3 months for this to happen, right? And I do have the Swell mod. This is a solid light kit right here, waiting for those in the Patreon Discord. Right here. Bam. This exact setup that is in my hand. Swagging lumps. Mandy, move your face. Bam. See that shit? And I'm thinking about throwing in that drip tip because it matches absolutely flawlessly.
That you just put all of your germs all over?
You might want to let that bitch quarantine for a week. You know what I'm saying? Now, first things first, weekend. Babe, what was your favorite part? It was not the 4th of July this weekend. In my head, I was about to say fireworks.
This weekend. This weekend was the first time that okay, something's wrong with my headphones or my microphone. It sounds like I'm underwater.
Your microphone's fine. It's just your headphones.
Okay,
you're fine.
My headphones on. I spent a lot of time with my family this weekend. So I spent Friday with my mom and my siblings, and I spent Saturday with my dad and my siblings. Actually, you know what my favorite part was?
What's that?
Yesterday when I got home from my dad's house, I'd been, you guys, all week last week, just like cleaning and running and all kinds of stuff. I spent all day Friday with my mom and my sisters. I spent Saturday with my dad. When I got home from my dad's on Saturday and it was raining and it was cold in the house and I put my pajamas on and I took a nap.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that.
That was my favorite.
And it wasn't even a depression nap.
Nope.
It was like just because she wanted to.
It was like, it's dark. It's raining outside. I have no obligations to be doing. And it's cold in our house finally.
I know.
Got our air conditioner fixed.
So I'm gonna tell you guys about the day from hell. This is legitimate. This has happened every fucking inch of it. So we haven't had air conditioning in the past 5 years. And 7 years. And we've gotten 2 new air conditioners from our homeowners insurance. We have appliance shit and brand new, never worked. So dude finally comes over and he's like, this is gonna need some work. I'm like, that's fine. It's like a lot of redneck engineering went in this house. I'm like, I'm well aware. And he never once told me like a specific price or anything. He's like, okay, everything should be taken care of from insurance as far as what was insinuated. Hands me a bill for $1,900. And I was like, what the fuck? Wait a second. I had to put this shit on 3 different cards that I just got done paying off. And as he left, there was a waterfall coming from my ceiling in my shop because
it's humid as fuck here in Minnesota. So this poor air conditioner is trying to suck all of the
humidity out
of the house.
And someone had broken a 90-degree PVC pipe, like just a coupling. And so I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to Home Depot. I'm going to get the 49-cent part and I'm going to do it myself because it's going to be a lot faster. And I go to start the Jeep and the eyes start blinking at me like that type of shit, like the lights. And it's a new vehicle because I'm not going to work on a brand new vehicle. And come to find out, it's just, I thought it was the ECU or some crazy shit. It's the battery. They ended up by trying to charge us, was it 3 something or 4 something initially, and ended up by coming to be like $330
for a new battery.
For a new battery. And I'm like, you realize that O'Reilly sells those bitches for $80 all day long, kind of a deal. So it's been a fucking weekend. It's been a fucking weekend, and I'm happy to sit down next to you. We're gonna get Italian with some cookies. I'm not gonna get it. Mike's gonna get Sicilian. Are you gonna get Italian? Are you already Italian? Are you on your way?
Mm-hmm.
The Italian brick road? Yeah. I'm not skipping. She's running. I'm not trying to run to go to Italy.
No,
I'm trying to like slowly, like I'm inching myself there like an electric go-kart.
You're taking a boat. I flew on an airplane.
I'm taking a boat. She's flying on an airplane. Mike is sprinting. He's on a jet. So
or helicopter or
something like that. Bitches. No, with that said, I want to talk about the Pulse too. I also want to get to know Tony outside of vaping. That's kind of where my passion. We have similar passions. With that said, fuck all the small talk. Let's go ahead and get Tony B in this bad boy. So unmute yourself, Tony. We should be golden.
All right. Look at that. Unmuted.
Gorgeousness.
Oh, yeah. So it's here where I'm at. It's after 10 o'clock on Sunday. So that's why I haven't done the show for, I'm like, man, by usually 10 o'clock on Sunday, I've been pretty lit during the weekend and I'm pretty much ready to go to sleep.
That's my boy. So I didn't know if we could probably talk about that. Tony scared me a couple of times, but one of them just recently when we were FaceTiming like a month ago, we just bullshit and shooting the shit about the quarantine. And this man pulls out a quote unquote vape pen, an Italian one in particular, and is taking a hit off of it like it's 2015 and he's cloud chasing. This man is
It was the particular type, the style of it that allows that. It's almost like having an RDA. Yeah, but you do have to be careful with that. Yeah.
Last time I used one was last winter. And Manny's like, oh, you need to calm. I'm like, don't fucking tell me. I'm a grown ass man. I weigh 250 pounds. One little puff is not going to do shit to me. By the time I made it to the shop and literally winched up the plow on the side-by-side to go plow.
I remember this.
I plowed for what I thought was 55 minutes.
Yeah.
And in my head, it was just beautiful. Like fucking just, dude, I just got these wings on the plow too. Perfect lines. As I'm finishing up and I back myself into the garage, so I'm feeling epic. I never put the plow down. And so I go back out, and this is where across the street there's a police officer at these Bates Motel, basically.
Right.
And as I go to back into the garage, I'm like, I don't want none of that. It was still in drive, and I never put it in reverse, and I hit the apple tree in front of our house. So that's why, ladies and gents,
you just don't. Yeah.
I don't fuck with it. It's just one of those things.
You just don't like it. The other thing too is you don't like downers.
No, that's true. I don't like being.
Oh, quarantine though, man. That was just something.
Yeah.
Quarantine required a lot of escapism, man. I mean, geez, and it wasn't just being quarantined. I live in a weird place. I live in this tourist destination, and weird stuff happened. Like I never once thought that they would shut down the bridges to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and they shut down the bridges. I was like, dang, they mean business here. And I have to admit, it was actually kind of nice. We had like at least a month where the weather was good and there was nobody here. I mean, I didn't have to stop at stop signs, man. I was like,
that's
just
crazy.
nice. Wow, and then Well, the rightly so, the non-resident property owners, people that owned homes here, $1 million homes on the beach, were like, I need to be able to have access to that. So they were going to sue. So the towns finally said, well, we'll just open the bridges. And boy, we had no cases here for 2 weeks. And as soon as they opened the bridges up, man, we have hundreds of cases now. I'm like, oh, well, there you go.
I imagine.
You
That's
got to
scary
figure
shit.
people are coming here from every hotspot to this one place. And when they get here, their attitude is, well, I'm on vacation from the Rona, so I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not doing anything that you want me to do. And I'm like, bro,
I never even thought of it like that.
There's a lot of sick people that are passing through here. You might want to for your own protection. Just saying.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. The one that blows my mind is people use it as a political football. And I'm like, bro, if I'm going to get a fucking surgery, I'm not going to go to, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi. Like, I'm not going to go to a politician to get medical advice. So why would you use it as a political football? Listen to a doctor. I don't give a fuck if you agree with Dr. Fauci or not, but he's a doctor and you're not. Right. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's funny because you would think that most of the people, we should probably move on after this because the mask thing gets really crazy, but most of the people that are against wearing them, you would think would want to wear them because they're the people that are like, no, I want my rights. Well, maybe you want to hide your face.
Exactly. That's the one that blows my mind.
You would think because like the Anon, they wear the mask, right? So don't you want to hide your face?
Seriously. Think about it. Absolutely. That's actually a good transition. Oh, go ahead.
For me, I'm getting a little bit older now, and I'm like, just for my own protection, I'll risk, wearing the mask. I'll go ahead, even if people think it looks stupid.
I'll be super honest that it's guilt for me. There's been a couple of times that I've been like had to run into the grocery store and didn't have it, and I'm like, I'll just run real quick, and the whole time I'm like, I can't look at anybody, and I'm trying not to make eye contact. I feel like
it doesn't need to be that way. That's the thing. If you don't want to wear one, I'm okay with that. Just don't give me shit if I wear.
But I do. Right. I mean,
she does wear what she works.
I have to wear one at work all the time. I try, but there's been those couple of times that like.
Oh, for sure. I thought.
Store, I'm like,
the other part is like when people stare at you who have masks on. I'm like, I'm on your side. I want people to wear masks. I'm just not being a good example right now.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes, and I've done that. I've left to go to the post office, and I'm like, dang.
Just a heads up, guys. All of the donations tonight will be donated to charity. That is the name of my truck, and just want to give big shout out to Tony because we're going to be. I got number one question I got comes through by KQ. God dang it!
I know.
Kenneth. I'm just gonna call because I always want to do the call numbers for this local radio station called KQRS and KQ92. So anyway, KQ Kenneth. When is the Tony B and Thesis project coming out? We can call it
now that would be good. I wouldn't mind that at all. We have ideas,
Of course. Well,
I just don't know. I mean, where is everything going to go though after September?
I can tell you. I have got inside information that'll blow your mind.
Well, that would be good because man,
I'll talk about.
And the thing is, you can easily say that this device is not only for nicotine. Right? I mean, just 100%. Like a bong is not only for marijuana, right? People use it for tobacco too. It's tobacco water pipe. So why is this only nicotine? I mean, this could be for CBD. It could be for aromatics. It could be, so that 100%. Is not a
good point. I've never thought about that.
I've thought about this back in the day. So I don't know, I'm sure I've still got it floating around somewhere. I built a voltmeter and I built a literal just an LED flashlight, just two soldering points, that's where my mind's at, two soldering points on
usually
right, exactly, on a, what was that RDA? It was a pulseless RDA, and I literally soldered the leads for an LED board and then LEDs, literally turned it into a flashlight. It was probably 700 lumen flashlight. And I just kept it around because like, just in case of an emergency, I've always got a shit ton of 18650s. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you could say it's a flashlight. It genuinely, if you look at the Drag X, in my opinion, is one of the most gorgeous devices ever put out in terms of a pod. The way it feels, and I still stay. I should have put this in the video. I deleted this out of the video. I said this exact words. I don't think Vupu designed this device, or they hired out, because this device is not a traditional Vupu quality piece. The flavor on it though is garbage. All I'm saying though is if you put a light bulb at the end, that would look like a tactical flashlight. Would it not?
Well, and look, the 510 on here could be where a flashlight screws onto it. So I mean, it doesn't mean that is a vaping device only.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
So I have a question real quick. Now that you're talking about that, if something ever does happen, can you still sell e-juice with no nicotine?
Well, see, now that's a good
question.
It's a question, and it's something that there are companies that have said, well, look, I have on the books a flavorless liquid that's been on the books, since before the PMTAs and all of that.
Yep.
And so technically, it is a liquid that has just no flavor, and it's got the different nicotine levels. So technically, people could buy that and mix their own stuff.
And more on that point, this is a UK brand that sent out their liquids to me, and I saw I just by chance I saw the customs notes, and it said adult bathtub lube. Now, interestingly enough, if you go on Amazon, you go on any I'm trying to think of a brand. I can't think of a brand at the moment, but there is pure organic lube that is just vegetable glycerin.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So, like at the end of the day, if there's no nicotine in it and the flavorings are not harmful, I mean, potentially you could do that. Yeah. Now
I've gotten back into DIY quite a bit, and what I've been doing though, just to keep things really easy, is I just buy flavorless liquid from Liquid Nicotine Warehouse, or is that the website? Either way, I'll just get that pre-mixed. And I've even done salts as like a 6 or a 12, and I'm like, this is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I get that extra kick if I'm using an AIO. I get that extra kick of the nicotine, but if I vape a 6 or a 12 of standard liquid, it just, I don't know. I'm like, oh, I don't feel good with it. So
it's funny you say that, because I've always felt the same way. If I vaped anything above a 24 freebase, I get gut rot immediately. Salts, I've never had that issue.
Yeah, so that's why I've been experimenting, but it makes it really easy, and there's plenty of great recipes out there. So I'm like, look, I'm just going to make sure, because if I can buy a couple gallons of that pre-mixed, I'll be okay for a little while we figure everything out. I don't know what's going to happen, honestly, and things are so the politicians aren't really working, but they are, behind the scenes, and it makes it difficult for us to really know what their moves are going to be and what's going to happen. But there's people that are far more knowledgeable on it than me.
So let's transition this, because I want to get into your vape story, but then I want to get into actually the stuff like I'm genuinely interested in. I'm interested in the vape stuff, don't get me wrong, but I already know your vape story. So and you're originally from San Diego, correct?
Yes, I grew up. Well, I grew up in San Diego from 4 years old until
where before San Diego?
I actually was born in Illinois, and my dad is Navy, and that's how we ended up in San Diego. And somehow my dad was able to keep us in San Diego that entire time.
Wow.
And I think he wanted to retire there, which he did. And so he took jobs where he was away for a year sometimes, in the Navy. He took all the West Packs, and which was kind of cool for me. My dad ended up being an officer, and I got to do cool stuff because I was an officer's kid. Like I did the Tiger Cruise, where you fly from San Diego over to Hawaii and ride the ship back. Oh,
that's cool. Sick,
dude.
How long were you on the ship for?
Almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got to shoot.
There was an LPD-5, so it's a flat deck in the back where they would land helicopters and stuff. And they took the officers' kids up there, and they had, I don't know what it was that we were shooting. I was very young, like 11. And it was it was an automatic. It was chain belt fed, chain fed.
Yep.
And they would throw trash bags out the back, and we were shooting them with tracer bullets on a bipod.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Pretty cool. It was cool, dude. I mean, that's cool stuff. But that's recruitment. I didn't join. I was like, no. I was like, my dad was a drill instructor at Great Lakes, so I know what it's like. I don't really want to do it.
Right.
So they got us out to San Diego, and I grew up in Penasquitos, Poway, Rancho Bernardo area out there. It was a lot of fun.
I stayed out there for a while with my brother at my sister's house, right by Rasa Park.
Okay.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, is that Chula Vista or?
Yeah. There you go, Chula Vista. There you go. So it was right by the ocean. It was badass. Like it was. It's a beautiful town, and it's bizarre because it's a big city, but it didn't feel like a big bustling city. Everybody wore flip flops.
Everybody does in San Diego, dude.
It's
It's
fucking.
just how it is.
Everyone
they
here
do too,
wears.
where I live. We all wear
Right.
flip flops.
And that's so what I yeah.
24/7.
Mike is producer. Mike Stroke Diesel is constantly flip flops.
Tony, I'm up in Murrieta, so I know exactly
Oh,
where
okay.
RP.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I worked up there for a while in construction.
So there's a lot of that going on then. Sure.
Good.
Let's start. Let's fast forward. Let's start with the vape story because I am curious. I'm actually curious about business stuff in terms of how it evolved.
Right. Well, the vape stuff also goes back to high school. So I smoked, man. I smoked in 5th grade. Okay. Everybody in my house smoked. So it was like normal. Cigarettes were everywhere. My dad was able to get the cartons of cigarettes for probably $5 on the base. They had them in the freezer, and we would just take a carton out as a kid. Okay, so mom even signed my smoking pass in high school. At Poway High School, we could smoke in the smoker section. It was a fenced off area. You had to have your little pass, but mom had to sign that pass. So flash forward to 2013, and she came to visit me in North Carolina. I worked in radio for many years, and that's what brought me all the way across the country to here. And it's a tobacco state, so vaping was not present really at all. There was no vape stop, no vape shops or anything. All you could get the blue cigs maybe. She came out to visit me, and she brought me a VV Nova Mini and an Evo pen type thing, just a regular standard pen. And she brought me some. It was Villain Vapors. It was Bonnie and Clyde, so mixed berry. And I tried it, even though I said I'm gonna hate this, and I was like, hey, this is good. This tastes like berries. Okay. Then I got I got a green apple. I got a blue raspberry. I was like, okay, I can do this. Within a week, I was off the cigarettes.
That's fast.
Channel happened. Yeah, the channel happened because I started watching YouTube because I had to figure out how to use these darn things. I came across P. Basardo. He looked, I was like, okay, he looks like he's smart. I'll watch this video. It was 45 minutes long. I told him this story. I said it was 45 minutes long. All I needed was the 5 minutes that told me what I needed to know in there. And it just, so I was like, okay. Then I watched a couple of other videos, and there was like, this MFR right here is the best. And I was like, okay, well, one of yours. I watched one of your videos before I started my channel.
Oh, you told me that. That's Sigelli. That's what you told me.
Yeah, no, it was the IPv3.
The 150 with the touch top. With the touch top. Yes.
You were like, what is this fucking touch top thing? I don't like this thing. And I was like, okay, I liked it, but I was like, my mother, if she would watch that, she would have not vaped. She would have thought, alternative lifestyle. I'm just saying, So
yeah, no, I get it.
I said, because I saw a niche. I said, let me make a channel that my mom can watch, but the guy down the street can also watch and get something out of it.
Yep.
And I watched a lot of channels, and I was like, okay, what I'm not going to do is try to be any of these other channels.
Yep.
I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to do a black background because all the channels that I watched, I got so distracted by what was on the walls and stuff. I was like, oh, what did he just say? I had to keep rewinding it. So I was like, how about I'll just go for no distractions, get right to it, make my videos as short as possible, no cursing, even though, come on, in real life, I'm a normal dude. So it took off, man. It really took off, and it took over, because I have a photo video voiceover business here, and it's kind of hard to do both, so and I had a passion for it because I was like, look, I really believe in this. This is helping people, and people were telling me, dude, your channel got me off of cigarettes, and I bought this one device, and it's just the best device. And I'm like, that's so awesome. So for me, that's what propelled it. You really get into it, and it's been a lot of fun. I've had some incredible experiences, been able to go, and I went to London. I got to meet you in person, and it's just like I've made so many friends. It's the community that has just been so awesome. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's it. All came from mom wanting to undo what she did in high school by signing my.
It blows
smoking
my mind
pass.
because 99.9% of us as a vape community as a whole, it's the opposite direction. It's the
Really?
like it was me, it was me getting my mom to quit smoking cigarettes via vaping.
Right.
I don't know. In fact, you're the only story I've ever heard where it's vice versa.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, so that's
Well,
awesome.
she
That's-
So when you said that, I was like,
did
oh,
not.
impressive.
Just so you know, she did not quit, and to this day is a dual user. I keep trying to get her to quit. I'm like, Mom, and she goes, but I just like to go sit outside and have my cigarette. And I'm like, Mom, you could do that with your vape. I mean, come on.
it's the
and
ritual that if you ask
It
Mandy,
is- yeah.
most of the cigarettes I lit, I would smoke 3 packs of Cool Hundreds a day. Most of them I didn't even smoke. When I wrote music, it was an incense. That's all. Like it was an incense burning in a quote unquote smokeless ashtray, right? And it would just sit in the studio. And then when I found vaping, it was actually because I'm like, oh shit, I can smoke in the big studios I'm in without getting in trouble.
Right.
So like I could go to Winterland Studios, go to Magneto Studios, I could go to Studio 5, any of these, and they would know. They were like, oh, cool. Like everyone else smoked in the studio.
What is the big studio in Memphis? Ardent. Have you worked at Ardent Studios before?
No, but so the head engineer in Ardent in 2012 or 13, I was in the same big facility with, but it's Studio A, Studio B. But I know that he, at least at that time, 12 or 13, something like that. It's a long time ago. Fuck, I'm old. Was working up here at Winterland. But that's the only connection I've ever had with Ardent.
Yeah, it was. I got invited there a couple of times when I was working in radio in Memphis. I was doing the morning show and I was a program director. So I had a friend he was a promoter, but he also had a couple bands that he was trying to promote. One of them was Saliva. I got to go there to
That's fucking
watch.
crazy.
If you look at 2 of the Saliva albums, which nowadays you don't do that often, but if you look at the liner notes, they mention Kramer and 94 won the buzz in there because I helped them to get their record out. It was signed and they were rolling, but they needed plays, and they needed plays in the town where they were from. So
that's awesome.
I was like, I'll help you. It's good stuff. All right.
So just so everyone watching, this is kind of where I wanted to drive the conversation. And if you're not into it, you're not into it. But this is what I'm into, hardcore. And I know Tony's got some stories and some secrets underneath that vaping exterior. But before we do that, let's go ahead and promote 2 things. First and foremost, a huge shout out to the sponsor for supporting the channel right above my head, EMB. Shop EMB. You can save yourself some shillings. There's a awesome phrase that people are known to say. Mandy, do you know what that phrase is?
15?
Nope.
Thesis 15?
Nope.
30?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
What? Whose wife are you,
I
bro?
don't know.
Barrage 35. And that is on Odell's. I'm trying to fuck with the algorithm, Tony. Odell's about 50 shillings in France. So 35% off. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty good. And here's the deal.
You're so stealthy.
I appreciate it. Tonight we will be doing a not giveaway.
Drawing.
We're doing a drawing. Doing a drawing. Listen, guys, we're doing a drawing for a swell mod. And let me tell you how swell this mod is. It's so fucking swell, you'd think it's swollen. And right here, I think I'm going to be throwing in this Corona-infected drip tip because look how beautiful that matches. Look at that. Look at this matchy situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's brand new. It's never been reviewed. It's literally was just sent to me by. Fuck! Who sent it to me?
I don't know.
Was it Tim? I think it was Tim. Was it Muddy Rose? It was somebody. It was sent to me by one of the militia members. Thank you so much. I'm gonna catch hell for forgetting who it was. I swear to God, I thought it was Tim. Maybe it wasn't.
It might have been.
It might have been Tim. It might have been Tim. However, I'm a little upset that I'm giving it away because I'm only
Justino.
Justino. Fuck. That's right. We traded. Son of a beehive. Steven, I mean.
No, Steven said Justino gave it to you.
Oh my God, because he won it in a giveaway, or he won it in a drawing from Steven in the Discord. Now I remember, it all comes together.
So you have too many things to remember.
This is true. When I was 3, or well, no, excuse me, when I was 7 in kindergarten or first grade, I got in trouble for something. about homework, and I'm like, there's not supposed to be homework in this shit. It's first grade. Well, what is your problem? It's like, my brain is so full of all of these things, and I can't fit anything else inside of it. And that was
I'm
legitimate until this day. I live my life by that shit. If it happens, there's a good chance it might, it might be up there somewhere, but it's in a corrupted file. Anyway, so it has to be on the Discord. Mike has posted the link, not the link. He has posted the picture. All you have to do is like the Italian party hat. You have to just hit it, select the party hat, boom, you're entered whether you like it or not. Now
in the giveaway bot post.
In the giveaway bot post, it was a bot that was posted. Yep. It was a bot that posted it. Fucking A. We're basically trying to post in bots and stuff. So with that said, in the spirit of giving, Tony said that the Pulse 2 the Pulse 2 mod will be reviewed here on Vaping with Thesis even before he has it on his channel. Except for I already watched his video, so that's not possible.
Yeah, it's too late for that.
Yeah, we can't go back to the future. But he said, even if I have to give you mine, which not gonna lie to you, I was hoping I would like to get yours with a fucking signature on that bitch. But I want yours specifically.
I was gonna say
I want all your Mona germs.
And what I have is I have a prototype one, which
Amanda!
We'll see, man. We'll see.
I want autographs and I want a fucking hat, Tony. Don't.
You know what's funny? What's funny about the prototype stuff is like people always go, "Oh, I want that." I'm like, "No, you don't."
You would have said the same thing.
I did. Someone offered to pay or to purchase the prototype or one of the prototype garages, and so I was like, "You don't want that."
Yeah, because the wires are like, because it's pretty janky. They literally 3D print these things and just kind of go, we'll see does it work. I'm like, yeah.
It's kinda like, yeah.
Well, because especially with the Pulse mods, these are made with ABS nylon, and you have to make a mold for that. It's 20 grand even in China to make a mold. So they want to make sure that shit is right before they go making a mold.
It's funny because I was talking about, so I'm a huge tool guy. I'm a huge, right. I'm not brand particular. I'm a Milwaukee guy because my truck is all red with the big giant Milwaukee stuff all over it.
I got a Milwaukee drill.
That's my boy. I've probably spent the same amount on college as I did on my Milwaukee tools. My whole shop is full. Now, with that said, they're not the best. If you want to do carpentry, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, DeWalt is where it's at. That's not besides the point. All I'm saying is I'm really interested in the technical aspects of what makes a good tool versus a shitty tool. Inject molding in particular, people do not realize many, not all, but many tools are made in the same factory, just like we were talking about your hair products. A lot of your hair products are identical active ingredients. The only difference is the label and the fragrance. Yep. Now, a lot of it has to do with design. So like, how is the clamshell design? What motors are they using? They're not using Milwaukee doesn't design their own motors. Like they just pick one out of a lineup that say Kawasaki, or like, if you look at any John Deere, any Cub Cadet, any Simplicity, any Craftsman lawnmower, I dare you, unless you're talking about the 7 Series John Deeres, open up the hood. They are all one brand, Kohler or Kawasaki, period. End of sentence. Unless you're getting something a little bit higher end, which is going to be actually made by John Deere or actually made by Honda, or etc. Simplicity lawnmowers, I think, were Honda V-twins back in the day. But besides the point, all I'm saying is the shells on these, I was initially, when I first got a Pulse, eventually, I was very disappointed in how it felt, and not because of you or the quality.
Right.
I like hefty shit. Like I break stuff. This was at the bottom of a lake, Mandy, was it not? This brand new Lost Vape, I just unboxed it. Was at the bottom of a lake. Worked within minutes after reemerging.
Yeah,
it's heavy. It's clunky. It's hot. I hate how hot it gets, but it just, I'm old school and it feels good. When I sat on my Pulse and it didn't break, is where I was like, oh, okay, now I see where we're going with this.
And that's the thing about these things too, is that when I started looking at making squonk mods, and they were like, well, even one other company was like, well, do zinc alloy. And I said, I don't want to do that because you're going to want to do panels on that, right? And if you
Oh my God,
got
you thought about it before I said it.
you got that little edge right there, and as soon as this thing falls, dunk, guess what? Now that's bent, and your shit's never going to fit.
Exactly. So I'm sorry, I have to finish my thought, otherwise people are going to think I'm nuts, which they do anyway. What I was going with the inject molded is I've watched videos on videos with tools and how much it actually costs to do an inject mold for styrene, for plastic with fiberglass injected, and for ABS, styrene, ABS, fiberglass, etc. The material costs basically nothing.
Right.
The mold itself, you are talking taking out a loan on a small house.
Yep.
Because of the amount of work and R&D that goes into it.
Especially in the US. If you get a mold made here,
good luck.
That's why I said even in China it's 20 grand.
So
we got it. I think we got it right. And you know, with this one we smoothed out the corners, we smoothed it out and rounded it off a little bit more, but I wanted to retain that original pulse box, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Opened up the window a little bit there, but this right here, this is the thing that I had been looking at for so long, this bottom fill. I was like, you know, dude, this is going to make things easy. First of all, you can just grab the bottle and pull it out. This bottle also completely disassembles. You can take the whole thing apart. Yeah. So you can take it all apart. That part comes off of there. This part comes out of here. Right. And then these pieces come off.
Did the original Pulse use a metal straw or no?
We did not. And I
was going to say, because that's a big upgrade.
I wasn't going to use metal on this. I liked the tubes actually, but we did a tube on this one and it didn't work as good. I was like, I'm not getting I don't know why not. For whatever reason, we weren't getting the pressure that I wanted to get that liquid up there. We
was
put
it
the metal
seals, do you think?
There. You know, for whatever reason, I really could not tell you. I said, okay, they thought it was fine, but I said, no, I don't think it's getting it up there good enough. Let's try the metal tube. We did it and worked great.
I like the tubes, the harder tube styles. Personally, you know, it's personal preference.
Well, it works real good. And then to put it back in, it's got little teeth that locks in. But that waterproof board that's on this thing, dude, you know, I live at the beach. Sometimes I'll go for a walk on the beach. It'll be sunny and nice. You leave the access, you go, I don't know, 5 blocks down the road and down the beach, and the clouds roll in and it starts raining on you. I don't have to worry about that with this. As long as I take the battery out and keep that dry, I'm good to go, man. Dry off the mod when I get out. That's one thing. I mean, it is open, so your battery's exposed to the water, but if anything gets on this mod, just take the battery out, wash it, and you're good to go. Love that. So that's for me, this is probably the last Pulse mod, and I wanted to make sure I put all the things that I wanted in that mod into this. So color screen, everything is, I love it. It's a great little mod. But unfortunately, the RDA that I like the most, they don't make anymore, the Pulse 2.
Okay, so I've got questions.
All right, go ahead.
So first, the Pulse 2. Mandy had a question because Mandy doesn't vape, but she's in the hair industry. In the hair industry, it is cutthroat as fuck, first and foremost. Yeah. Second of all, the products that come out, like in terms of just like lines, is just like e-liquid. Like every week there's a new one. And was going to ask about whether you plan your products ahead of time. Like if you come out with a product, is there the idea of a second variation immediately, or is it something that kind of just happens?
Well, it depends on which one it is. I mean, with the Pulse, you know, I already knew that we were going to do a regulated version when we did the mechanical version, but you know, for Bandy Vape, they didn't want to take a risk on a regulated version of it, you know, as their first mod ever. So they said, we'll do the mech one first. And so as soon as that mech one was ready to go into production, we were working on the next one. And it looked very different. There was a couple
Holy shit, that quickly?
Well, that one, because we already knew.
Right.
So in that case, we already knew, because when the first one came out, dude, it sold so fast. It was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. So they were like, okay, yeah, we're ready. Let's do the other one. Well, and of course, famously, we didn't have a chip. So we started looking for one. But while we were looking for one, they were creating their own chip. So I was like,
yeah, I was gonna say that was a pretty hairy situation. I remember that. That was bad.
I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, no.
That was a very bad time in my life, man. I mean, dude, I'll just say there were threats, there were all kinds of crazy things that were coming my way. I was
So
like, this is nuts.
without going into detail, Manny doesn't
Yeah.
know about
I was
it.
gonna say I have no idea what you guys are talking
And
about.
Yeah,
I know it's interesting hearing that type of shit. For me, it is
right.
only because I went through it. Like I went through it as well,
Right.
and
You know.
it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
You feel like dude, this is my idea, and you just take it from like it's just like you're, oh, that's mine. Excuse me. Like
Yeah.
I did that, and you're just gonna.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I
Go
know
ahead.
you. Yeah. It was bad, but it was also like, I mean, I'll just say this: that company, they wanted to throw a lot of money at me to take that video down. I was like, okay, so why would, if I was wrong, why would you want to give me a lot of money? And I turned it all down. I was like, no, dude, I'm sorry. And the video is still up to this day. If they wanted to get it taken down, they could have. So that's all I got to say about that.
You don't want to just do a synopsis?
Well,
we don't have to go into any detail at all.
Yeah, Synapsis is working with a company to develop a mod, need to get a chip, go to another company that has a well-regarded chip and say, we really like your chip, we'd like to use it. Get an agreement. Company tells you that they will give you 40,000 in the first shipment, the first lot. So you plan to sell 40,000 mods, tell the public about it, including that you're going to be using said chip. Then company that you're buying the chips from decides, no, actually, we would like to put this mod out, and we're just going to do whatever we can to thwart you and delay you until we can. And then, well, once we find out, I don't lay down like a dog, and I say, no, screw that. And I never caused drama on my channel, but I was ready to do it then. I was like, I'm sorry, man. And the main reason why I had to do that is because, remember, 40,000 is what they promised, and 40,000 is what we had sold on pre-orders to distros and stuff, expecting that version of it. And now we had to explain why we do not have that version of it. So that's why that video had to.
Puts you in a very bad position.
Yeah, so I mean, it was bad, and I mean, I was like, I genuinely feel bad that any of this has happened, and I don't deserve. I mean, when your phone is ringing off the hook from somebody speaking Chinese when you pick it up and you don't know what. There was a lot going on. I had to get attorneys and a little bit of home protection, and I was like, I'm not having this, dude. It's not okay, and it's not my fault that this happened this way. That's the synopsis. Pretty good. I was short.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's a really good way to put it to someone who doesn't vape. I started getting like,
it got personal.
I was gonna say it got much more personal than that, but like it doesn't need to. I hate. Look at, man, it's the internet. I hate bullshit, nitpicky, petty ass drama. If you want to get petty, let's get petty. But I don't. I would much prefer to not do it that way. A, B, I'm a fucking man. Like, you want to talk, if you have something to say to somebody, or if you're gonna pull something like that, it's almost just straight up better. You'd be like, listen, I know I said I was going to do this, but like, this is a much better option for me. And I'm sorry, but like, I want to let you know, it feels, for whatever reason, 1,000 times better than just be like, oh yeah, just wait another week. Just wait another week. And then all of a sudden, boom, this company comes out with this your product.
Yeah, at least I found out. I think the worst part about it, though, the worst part about it was that I felt that a good part of the community just turned on me, because there was a good part of the community that was like, yeah, he's man, he didn't get a contract. Well, he's just dumb. Well, he did this. Well, he's only doing this for drama. I was like, whoa, hold the fuck down, okay? Because I'm just trying to tell you what happened. All right, so okay, now you come at me. I've never. Have you ever seen me to do this? No. So
who? I can't even imagine that. I have a hard time even processing.
Yeah.
That could even happen to you because of that. That's who would fucking say that. No, I mean, you know what? Just let it be. That's not even, let it be. I hate hashing old bullshit.
And so my big thing is this. I don't think that we should be in the community fighting each other at all. I mean, it's like, look, dude, there's no need for that. But really, I'm just glad. I'm glad I went through that situation, because with everything you do in life, you grow, and I definitely was forced to grow on that. I'm trying to switch headphones there.
Okay, so no, we're going to completely change subjects and start
Yeah,
getting into your stories. And I hope this does not come off as an offense. I'm trying to find an older picture of. So I don't know if you're into paranormal shit, right? I'm a hardcore paranormal buff. Ghost hunters, ghost adventures, life till the day I lie. What?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I
used to do that. Hold on. I'm trying to hook these headphones up here. Hold on.
Do we just become best friends? Bro! Where did he go?
Hold on.
Damn it.
I'm back.
I'm gonna okay. So
yeah.
I am. Oh. Okay, so I'm a huge paranormal buff. No, okay. I'm scared shitless of it. Fuck no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm a couch. Okay. I am a couch ghost. I'm a ghost. I'm a Zach Baggins fanatic. Now listen. What is that?
You're a ghost hunter watcher.
Yes. And I started out with, of course, ghost hunters, everybody else. But the part is I've experienced a lot of it. So like I don't want to fuck with it. Does that make sense? Like I've had scary stuff happen and I'm not a fan of the scary stuff. Whatever you're doing with your headphones, I would take them, they sit around your neck, I would put them to your front. Because that's where your microphone is.
It's probably hitting on my collar.
Yeah.
Bam. Perfect.
Better?
Yep. Right. So do you know who Steve Gonzalez is?
I do.
Okay. You are I've always thought this. The moment I saw you, my initial reaction was, holy fuck, Steve Gonzalez face. And it wasn't now granted, you guys do not look the same.
Right.
It was just my initial boom knee-jerk reaction years ago. Right. But he looks like it could be your son. This is going to be horrible content for all you watching. I don't care. I've always wanted to bring this up to Tony, and I'm going to bring this up to Tony. Okay, so this is who I'm talking about. It looks like he could be your son. If you had children tonight, this man is exactly who it reminds you of. Okay, I've just wanted to bring that up. Now,
okay, I can see it.
Yep. But it's not just the way he looks; it's the way he speaks. This man is the most anti-drama. Yeah. Kind of a soft-spoken dude, super like a really good heart, big heart kind of a guy. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that said, I didn't know you were a paranormal buff. Let's go ahead and start there. Fuck it. When did that start?
Yeah. Okay. So as a kid, I always was into UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, all that kind of stuff. You know, as a kid, you're going to be fascinated with that stuff. So that's just one of the things. I was actually fascinated with the afterlife, because I saw a movie when I was a kid that was like a part kind of a documentary in a movie theater about what happened when you died and the tunnel that you go through. And I was very fascinated by that stuff. I didn't take any action to look for them myself until Ghost Hunters. And I was like, well, man, look, I'll buy some video cameras. I bought some Sony cameras that had night shot on them. I bought a EMF detector. I got some recording devices for audio. And
what year was this? Because what year was this?
Okay, well, when I was actually what really got me onto this kick of doing it was, so we did a bit in Memphis. There was a home called the Hunt Phelan home on Beale Street. It's still there. It's a historical landmark. It was one of the first places that had
I think I've been there.
No, I will divorce you right now.
Been there.
Schools for the schools for blacks were in the backyard there, like hidden. It was part of the Underground Railroad. It still has the tunnels and stuff like that. Pretty cool. And so Halloween was coming up and I had Ozzy tickets and I wanted to figure out a good way to give them away. Well, MTV had that show called Fear.
Yep, I remember that.
I was like, I want to do MTV's Fear. We're going to do, I went by Kramer on the air. I was like, we're going to do Kramer's Fear, man. We're going to do that. So somebody calls me up and he says, well, listen, I own the Hunt Phelan home. He said it was willed to me by my great uncle. And I was like, oh, well, tell me about it. And he says, okay, we've had some weird experiences there. Apparently during the plague, I guess the bubonic plague, everybody fled Memphis. And there was a very rich family that owned this home, the Hunts and the Phelans, the Hunt Phelan. So apparently they had a slave named Nathan who was the main house slave. And so they left him there to take care of the home. And they left him a lot of gold. And they said, you know, Nathan, this is your gold. We want you to watch the home, and left them also a lot of their own gold. Back then they couldn't travel with it. So Nathan lived there for about 2 years while they were gone. And apparently they found him dead. When they found him dead, he had some boots next to his bed that were muddy. And they think that he went and buried the gold. So his uncle told him while he was growing up and going to this home, don't worry, if you see an old black man at night, that's just Nathan. Don't worry about it. So after his uncle died and left him the home, he was spending the night there one night. And he said, man, I wake up, you know, the neighborhood's not real great there nowadays. So he wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and sure enough, there's an old black man standing at the end of his bed. And he's
Holy
just
shit.
standing there grinning. And, you know, so not thinking, he just reaches for his gun and he goes, hold on. And the dude just goes right underneath the bed. So he gets up, goes to the corner of the room, and he's like, oh shit, is that Nathan? And he says, is that you, Nathan? And he felt a cold breeze go past him. So then he said they were using this home for weddings and stuff like that. He had an industrial kitchen built in the out kitchen. Is everything frozen? I don't know if you guys can still hear me.
Tony, I can hear you.
Okay. So he has this kitchen, and apparently he had two friends that used the kitchen so that they could do preparations for a wedding. And I guess they were rocking out to some AC/DC. There was space between them, and all of a sudden they felt somebody just walk right up and wedge themselves between them. And they were like, what? They left and said, I'm not coming back in there. So that was enough to convince me to do the bit. And we did. We took listeners. I don't know, have they come back yet? We took our listeners to this home, and we had a police officer friend who was a ghost hunter went with us, and we spent the night in that house, and there was some freaky stuff that happened. I have some stuff on video that once I know that he's back in here.
Did you get a lot of stuff from the night shot?
Well, the night shot cameras I didn't have at that time. I had just a regular camera, and one of the things that happened is we walked through the house, and the owner explained what each one of these rooms were and all this kind of stuff. And he did explain that this one particular room was the room that his uncle was born and had died in. And one of the women that was there had something that she had bought from the auction. So she said, I brought this with me. I'm going to put it up on the mantle. So she did. Later on, I came back up there to set up my camera, and 3 of the people came with me. And as I was setting up the camera, I was literally I just hit the on button, and one of the women walked in there, and she goes, and I guess, I don't know what the deal was, man, but she just went down like a tree, flat, just bounced. My whole camera goes, and when we finally wake her up, she's like, get me out of here, get me out of here. When we got outside, she said she felt like somebody was squishing her like this, and it just made her pass out, and she fell over. I was like, that's crazy. I mean, she was not faking it, because if you're faking it, you put your butt first or your hands. I'm talking, this girl just went, boom. I was like, oh, geez. So pretty crazy stuff, you know.
She get the tickets.
She did get the tickets. Everybody that went that night actually got tickets for Ozzy. But I've done some other investigations here. There's a lot of stuff here in the Outer Banks. We have pirate lore here, which is really freaking cool, man. Blackbeard the pirate was killed right down the road by the British Navy. The area out here is called the Graveyard of the Atlantic because what happens is there's sandbars out there, and these ships, they get hung up on them. Nowadays, not so much, because they know how to navigate them. But we used to have land pirates here, and the land pirates, what they would do is they would take horses and they would run them up and down the dunes, and it would look like a busy harbor. They would put lanterns around their necks. That's why we have Nag's Head here. And I guess it would look like a busy harbor, which Chesapeake is right up the way. So these boats would think they were coming into the Chesapeake Bay, And what would happen is they would get hung up on one of those sandbars, and our land pirates would go out there like they were going to, rescue them, but instead they would just destroy their boat and let it sink and take all their crap. So, and the way we got the name Kill Devil Hills is because one of those boats was full of rum, and the pirates were like, well, I'm not taking that crap back. So that stuff all floated up onto the shore, and the locals found it and said it was so strong it could kill the devil. And there we go.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's pretty
Yeah.
dog baller.
Real quick, I am guys, our internet has been garbage today. I apologize. So now I'm on my phone. So if it
Either
sounds
that or
like
the ghosts. The ghosts
Dude,
got to you.
fucking A, don't say that. I don't want no ghosts in my house.
But yeah, I don't do it much anymore. It just it was something I did for a while, and we saw some pretty crazy stuff. There's one that happened out here, and if you want me to give you another one, I'll tell you another one.
100% I do.
Okay, so I was doing my radio show here in the Outer Banks, and this lady called up and she said, well, I own a home that it's a historic home here, and it's probably about an hour from here, hour and a half. And a lot of the names here are old names, like the Tillets and the Midgets, and so property was pretty much all owned by them at one time. So she told me that she had a property that they just purchased as a second home because it was beautiful and maybe to do weddings and stuff there, but sometimes they live there. And she said, we've seen some crazy stuff. She said, we had a wedding here, and there was a bride in the shower in the master bath. She's in the shower and she thinks she's the only one in the building. And somebody walks, the shower has those kind of glass blocks. It's hard to see who's walking outside the shower if it's glass blocks like that. Well, somebody walked by and walked into a corner of the bathroom where there's nowhere out unless you go back by the shower again. So somebody walked by. So she was like, hey, she's getting ready for her wedding that day. So, so somebody walked by and she freaked out. She's like, hey, who's there? Well, she got out of the shower. Nobody was in that bathroom and nobody was in that house. So she ran out and said, I'm not going back in there. I will get married in the backyard here, but I'm not going back in that house. So they had to let her use the guest quarters in the back. So I said, okay, yeah, we'll do it. We'll investigate it. She said, there's a little graveyard that's here that the county just put a road right through at one time. So, you can go check out the graveyard. Previous owners of this home are in that graveyard and stuff. And I was like, okay, oh, cool. So we went out there. This time we brought our radio station's engineer with us, so he could do the EMF detector, right? Looking for electromagnetic fields, he would know. If he got, if he was getting a reading somewhere, he'd be like, well, I'm getting it because of this, that kind of thing, because that's what he does. So we brought him out there. It was a team of about 5 of us and him. So we set up a camera facing to where that bathroom is, which is in the master bedroom. Set up a camera there, this time with the infrared. I set up audio recorder in there. I set up an audio recorder in the kitchen, and we took another camera upstairs all the way to the top, right? Because she said there's like an attic area up there that's livable. So we went up there and we were trying to provoke it. We're like, is there anybody here? If there's somebody here, you could talk right into this microphone right here, that kind of stuff. We weren't getting anything, but then we heard something. We heard something downstairs and we were like, what the fuck was that? Okay, let's go check. So we go down the stairs and we're like, hello, is there anybody here? Nobody answered. There was nobody in that house. We go, okay. So we didn't know what we had, what would, if anything, we had caught anything. So I was like, I'll check the tape, which by the way, is very laborious. If you're going through an hour-long tape sitting there like,
8 hours of tape. So it's, especially if 4 voice recorders running plus DVR on top of that.
Yeah, it's yeah. So I was like, okay, well, we'll check that later. So we were standing in the kitchen and I put a brand new full battery on my camera. I'm like, okay. So I checked it, brand new, full, big, extended life battery. Always worked, right? So I was like, this is good. So I got my my engineer over here with the EMF detector. I'm standing in the kitchen with a friend of mine. And I go, can you feel that? And she's like, yeah, my legs are really cold right now. I was like, I don't know, something's like coming up from under these cabinets maybe cold because it was cold outside. So I was like, all right, well, and then she goes, is there anybody here? And the EMF detector goes off. Beep, 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 beep. I'm like, nice. Brian, are you? He's like, I'm in the middle of the room, nothing around me right now. And she goes, if you're here, if you wave your hand over that red thing that was just beeping in his hand, and we'll be able to tell that you're here. Beep, 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 beep. I'm like, oh shit. I mean, we literally were getting call and response. Okay. I was like, this is a trip. And right then my camera goes, the battery was gone. I was like, son of a bitch.
That's straight taking energy.
I said, my other battery is in my truck, and that's down the road by where that cemetery is supposed to be. So I guess we'll go get that battery. So I said, do you want to come with us? Beep, 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 beep. I'm like, do you know where the cemetery is? Beep, 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 beep. I'm like, oh, man. And my engineer's like, he's standing there holding that thing going, dude, this is freaking me out. I'm like, this is awesome. So we walked down the street, still asking it questions, and it was beeping. Like, did you live here? Beep, 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 beep. I'm like, dude. And there's no way he could have done it. There's no button on there to make it do that. So we get down the road and we're like, I don't really know where it is. She said that I guess they paved right through it. So I guess we would see it. And boom, there's a headstone right there. And the thing started beeping, and then it would not beep anymore. It was done. That's like it showed us where the cemetery was. That's a trip.
So did you have any experiences with it afterwards, especially if it was following you like that?
No, I didn't. That was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's one thing I worry about, man, because listen, I'm Christian, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't want something like that to be like, oh, thanks for opening the door. I'm coming home with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a fucking scary thought. P.S. guys, I'm sorry if we look ridiculous because I have, let's see, we're running on my iPad's hotspot, and how do I leave this Zoom on my phone? Bam. Okay. How am I co-host on my own channel?
That's a good question.
All right, let's not do that. Okay.
Well, as long as it's on.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So what blows my mind is like everything, like a lot of the things that I'm into, you've been into, which I had no idea about the paranormal part. When did you stop that?
I got busy with other stuff, and it was like, I don't have time to go do this. And it got harder to find people to go with me. I'm not going to go do that shit by myself.
Fuck that.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just kind of lost interest in it, but I still got the stuff. I got a little case here somewhere. I've got infrared flashlights, and I've got, the best cameras for infrared, dude, is the shitty old Sony Handycam.
I've got a
little camera.
And do you know why they're the best?
Up there. I've got two of them up there somewhere. Wow.
They don't have infrared filters on the lenses. All new cameras come with the infrared because of the sun, like GoPros, for example, or like even like a Lumix GH5 and any of the Canons. It's all as infrared, even your iPhone. But if you put your iPhone up to that little bulb at the end of your remote and you hit a button like for your cable or whatever, you can see that purple light like flicker.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like the old shitty like Coolpix cameras work the best, like Sony's old school stuff. When did you get started into music? Like I'm assuming, so you went to North Carolina.
I got started in music when I was just a very, very young man. I was probably, I wanted to play drums and I wanted to play keyboards, and my brother had the guitar and he wasn't playing it. And so I was like, let me pick that up. And I played Smoke on the Water, first song I played. And then my neighbor, he was like just a big computer geek guy, but he could build amps and shit. And he built me an amp for my electric guitar, and it had distortion on it. And I was like, dude, it's like the Scorpions, man. And that just kicked it into gear, and just through, I was into Maiden, Priest, Sabbath, Van Halen, all that stuff. And I was like, man, Motley Crue. I was like, I'm going to be a rock star, dude. That is what I'm going to do. I don't care. I'm not getting a job. I'm not going to do, I did all that. But, and then unfortunately, once I turned 17 years old and I was a big F up, man. I got in a lot of trouble and ended up moving out of my parents' house at 17. I realized, shit, I'm going to have to get a job,
Yeah.
And I did. I was in a band that I thought was going to do something really good. I was the youngest guy in that band, and they were called Rulinks. And I got married, and I figured she married me knowing that I was wanting to be a rock star, so this would be okay. She didn't like the practices with kegs and girls and maybe a little bit of cocaine, all that kind of stuff. She was like, I don't like any of that. So she made me quit the band, and I went to work in a factory, and I kept playing. I bought myself a Marshall half stack. I was like, if I buy a half stack, I'll have to play. You know what I mean? And I'll have to play loud. So I have to be in a band or something. But she, no. And there was a time where I stopped playing, really. I'd pick it up once a month, be like, okay, But recently, my nephew, he grew up with, he didn't grow up with me around because I got into radio and was traveling doing that, but he grew up with pictures of me all around my mom's house with long hair and guitars, that kind of stuff. So he is now an amazing musician who, he's the one that did the intro for my videos.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so he wrote all of that, produced it, played all the instruments, and he's just, big Alice in Chains fan. If you look at his channel, his covers of Alice in Chains, amazing. And
what's his channel? Shout it out.
Instrument. I think it's just Tyler Britton. There's a link in every one of my videos. Here, let me look. I'm on here right now.
Yeah, look it up. So as he's doing that, his and his wife's
just
stories sound very
Britton.
similar to me and Mandy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's 227 subscribers. We can do better than that, man.
Let's bring it up to 304. Come on, guys.
Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, it's but I started playing again, and he's one of my inspirations because he's been collaborating with other people, and I went, shit, man, I got this kid who can really polish whatever turd I put out. So why not start writing again and get that kid to help me? So he is
100%.
And we're almost done with a song that I got the new Fender Telecaster Acoustasonic, which
I saw that
thing.
I saw you showed like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, so I love that thing. So I wrote my first acoustic song, and it's pretty darn good, man. So I'm excited about it. It's got me back into playing, and for me, I think what's good is that my motivation used to be bitches and money.
God, bro.
That was it. But now my motivation to play is just because I enjoy it and because I want to create something. I'm one of those kind of people, man. If I'm not creating, I just feel bored and dead.
Yeah, that's so, dude. Very similar. Very similar. Like my DIY,
brothers,
100%. My DIY projects have stemmed from being creative, and if I can't do it through a track or through a song, like it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Or worst case scenario, like I go into a depression. I'm being dead serious about it. Like it goes into a bad place, or like I become self-destructive, or I become like just angry. But it all has to come out like a fucking shitty vomit after a night of Kharkov vodka.
No, it can't be that bad.
Oh, it's that bad. No, it's not bad.
or Barnett's. Barnett's.
God, dude. Or Svedka. No.
Oh.
Barnett's
draws you in though, with all of those.
With all of those flavors. What? With all the flavors.
The flavors sound so good, and then
of course they do.
And
so does Aftershock, but that doesn't mean it's good for you. It's a horrible idea.
Yeah. We've been drinking Beargaritas.
I've had those before.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a margarita with a Corona at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's that. Or what we've been doing is you take a summer shandy, like Leinenkugels. You mix that with a actual thing of the frozen limeade.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh,
and then an entire thing of limeade of tequila in there.
You've done similar things. Mandy orders.
That sounds really good. I'll have to try that.
Mandy comes from northern Minnesota, and she ordered. It was embarrassing. She would order a Mick Golden, and if she was feeling fancy, with a stick of olives.
Yep.
And
Hey!
sometimes she would ask for a cup of olives. And I'm like, what do you think this is?
Oh, I love that. I
It's
am
hard.
an olive fanatic.
Olives are fine. When you
too.
order, I don't know, a McGolden and some olives in it, it looks ridiculous. It looks pretty. I'll take it back. It looks like
It's
it
good.
looks like a shandy, right? And I'm sitting there in any restaurant we go to when this happens. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm marrying Beverly Hillbillies, which is fine. Love it. I
Weird
can
Doritos,
I-
right up my
yeah,
alley.
which is fine. Oh, you say when we met, I cannot believe that you stuck with me for that first year with the initial process. At one point we were signed, the group that was in was signed, and it was like I looked forward to getting discounted shoes at Plato's because of it. Like we were number 1 and number 6. Our second group was number 1 and number 6 in the Midwest charts on MySpace. That'll give you a time frame.
MySpace.
On MySpace, yeah.
Wow.
And then after that, we were like somewhere in the top 150 on Facebook music for the Midwest, which is that's not to say nothing. Like we come from a state with atmosphere, Brother Ali. I knew charisma. I used to rap with Dem Atlas, all sorts of stuff like that. But with Owl City, which blows my mind at the end of the day that I fucking knew that dude that's on Fireflies.
Yeah.
So we met that kid at so many well, I shouldn't say so many. It was a small gathering in Owatonna, Minnesota. Now, you have zero knowledge of Owatonna, Minnesota. People from Minnesota have zero knowledge of Owatonna, Minnesota. So that'll give you an idea of like when someone's creative in the middle of nowhere. Hold on though. You came from San Diego. San Diego was a super musical city though.
It was. And that, for me, I didn't take enough advantage of it, man. I laid down, bro.
So I believe you.
Thought this is the way. This is my life. I work at a factory.
Never 100%. Dude, I worked at UPS when we met. Or did I? UPS when we met? When we met, and I didn't want a girlfriend. I had 2 girlfriends at the same time, and I told Mandy, I'm like, if you want to do this, like you got to keep up with me for one. Number 2, I'll break up with both of them. And I not? Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with this one.
Go, girl.
I had over heels. It's the truth. And she tamed me. I was a fucking lion. And she and then
it's a very similar story for me, man.
It was crazy. I didn't want love. I had a shirt that said "Fuck love. It's all about the hustle." You know what I mean?
I did. I like love.
Love. Good. It's and now all I want to do is love on her, and she fucking kicks me and takes the blankets at night, and she doesn't want me.
That's what they do, man. They suck you in and then like
bullshit. I hate it, Tony. All I want to do now is watch Ghost Adventures, and I want to go ghost hunting, and then I get chicken out of it. I want to go for drives in the middle of the night so we have this abandoned asylum firehouse that someone told me it didn't exist.
That's scary.
Bro, me being me, I'm like, I'll show you it exists. I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever publicly told this. Do you know what time slip is?
No.
So I'm not a huge believer in UFOs. I've seen them, but I'm not. I know UFOs are there. I just don't necessarily know that it's coming from aliens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It could be dimensional. It could be. My first thought is there's got to be. The government's 30 years ahead of what we know exists. So,
right.
However, time slips are commonly associated with UFOs and stuff. Now, this is the one about ULANs. I think I told you about. So what happened was, I was pissed off. I leave my house. I'm driving my mom's Pontiac, Montana minivan, and it's just becoming spring. It's like the end of April, beginning of March, maybe mid-March, something like that. And what happens is I'm dead silent. It's dead silent, and I cannot get lost in this particular area of Minnesota where I'm at. I know every back dirt road and everything, or so I thought, is Rosemont area. As I'm driving, I say, fuck it. I turn the radio on, and I specifically I just look down. I see the time, and it just stuck in my head. It was like 7:20 something. I don't remember it anymore, but like at that time, it just stuck there for the longest time. 7 something at night. It was well into the dark, but it still had that little. It was just getting spring, so it had that, like, what do they call twilight or whatever. Yeah. And as I'm driving, I see Goodwin Avenue, and I'm like, okay, it's a dirt road that should take me all the way to Highway 80. I'm just out driving, pissed off. As I start to drive, I hear the of the radio. It wasn't necessarily like immediate. It was kind of that slow, like, but it's bizarre because it's not that far from where that station broadcasts. Like,
Right. So like faded into static.
it just
like,
faded like exactly. That was fucking really good, Tony. Holy shit.
Damn.
It was a great effect. So that's some Foley sound effects right there, guys. So
I got you.
as that happened, is when I started to realize all the light pollution was gone. And I don't mean it was faded. I mean, it was just gone. Now in this area in particular, we have one of the Koch brother refineries right there, like right there where I'm driving at. And it's called the ULANS because University of Minnesota purchased it. Now, I'll get into that in a second. Where I'm at, I assume I'm between Rosemount and Farmington, where that asylum sort of semi is at. As I'm driving, no light pollution. It is pitch black except for that twilight sky. Otherwise, I may as well be the only person on Earth. All of a sudden, my pissed offiness starts coming into that kind of fear that, like, oh, I should probably turn around because I guess I'm lost.
You start getting that sense.
Something's different. It's not normal. And when the significance of the spring, winter turning into spring is like it's still Minnesota, so it's like it's still ice roads, but it's like that slush, just slushiness, and is where I realize I can't turn around. It's a low maintenance road, meaning they don't ever plow it. It's like once a month, and it is as narrow as just apparently a Pontiac Montana minivan. So as I'm going, I'm hoping to find a culvert or something like a farm road. I can just turn around and go back the other way. As I get to, it's trees on either side, and it's just fields, and then all of a sudden I'm in trees. As I get to the tree portion is where I see it's two yellow, very yellow, the most incandescent, like Edison looking bulb thing situations going on. And there's two pillars. I'm like, fuck it. And I get up to the pillars, and it's a gated fence it's brand new. Like, it is gorgeous. What? Sorry. I'm going back into it in my head. It's a gorgeous, like, I shouldn't say gorgeous. It looks like a prison. I'll be honest with you. Like, it was just beautiful, like rock work with two lanterns on the outside that are light bulbs, but just barely. Two pillars, gargoyle status, and it said authorized personnel only on the sign. So I'm like, all right, is what it is. And as I turn around and as I come back, it wasn't more than 5, maybe 7 seconds later where I felt that, like, because I'm turned around. As I look behind me, Tony, that shit that I just saw that was extreme, like very detailed and fucking beautiful, was legitimately a pile of rubble. It was a pile of rubble. All of the light pollution's back, the radio's on, and it was less than a couple minutes. I thought I was gone for what seemed like fucking hours. And this time I wasn't vaping THC.
Wow, man, that's a trip. That is a trip. You know, I have a theory on UFOs. This is my theory.
Well, real quick, that shit I don't think was UFO. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it was. All I know is it happened, and I have no idea why. But it blew my mind. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have a theory on you because I was just watching today that what is it, Undisclosed? The guy Tom DeLonge, his team.
God, yeah.
I love that show. Well, they're talking about in combat where they've seen these, and they've seen all the way back to Vietnam. They've seen these tic-tac shaped things and stuff. And I'm like, okay, here's my theory on spaceships and UFOs. I don't know that they're aliens. I think they could be us from the future.
I've heard that theory. I stand by.
And that's why they don't interfere and they don't show up. But I think they might be us from the future.
I completely. If you look at time, my understanding of time is that it's basically a big pool, and it's just the difficulty is accessing the other points. That's it. Like that's it. Right. In terms of there is no past, present, or future. It's just a big pool. It's not a river. Most people think of it as a river.
Right.
Now, granted, I can't give you proof of that. I'm just saying it for me. Yeah. That's kind of what makes sense. Like it just seems like
it just dawned on me when I was watching one of those shows, and I went, "Huh, what if?"
Oh, you just thought of this?
Like a week ago, I was watching something, and I was like,
And that shows how smart you are, because that's an actual theory. That's like a very well-known theory in the UFO community and the
I don't follow it a
ufologists.
lot, but I watch the shows. I know Tom DeLonge is huge on that.
Yep.
By the way, here's an interesting fun fact. Tom DeLonge, Blink 182 used to just be called Blink, and the reason why they called it Blink 182 is because they found out there was an Australian band named Blink, and they had to change their name when they got signed. So in the movie The Godfather, is that right? Godfather? Well, the word fuck is used 182 times.
Oh shit.
So that's why they named it that. And the reason why I know that is because them and Unwritten Law were both kids in Poway when I was working at the record store there, Sam Goody. And they would come in all the time and be like, dude, I need to get a Pennywise record. I'm like, I'm going to find that in here, but I'll order it for you. So I used to order that stuff for these guys. And actually, Unwritten Law, Rob Brewer, the guitarist, was a friend of mine from high school. So it was kind of cool when I was working at radio. When he would play in town, he'd be like, Tony, man, you got to come to the show tonight. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's do it, man. So that was a cool little record store. That's also where I met my wife. I was her boss. Now she's mine.
That's adorable. I got a Sam Goody connection. As my first ever set of turntables were purchased from a Sam Goody at Mall of America.
Wow.
Yeah. They were Ion. It was the shittiest belt drive turntable. I tried so hard to scratch with those, and it just wouldn't happen. Just wouldn't happen. Nope. And then I got my first set of Techniques, very soon after when I sold my car. Yeah.
Sam Goody was not known for having high quality electronics.
No, but I didn't. I saw the documentary Scratch, and I was like 11 or 12 or something, and I was like, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a battle DJ, and I will figure this out. And as it turns out, it was much more expensive endeavor than I ever thought. And I did it. I'm good as fuck. Like, I'm solid. Yeah. Not to toot my own horn, but I will battle anybody in the vape industry right now.
Go right ahead and toot that horn, man, because I can't do it.
It was one of those things where I could at the time read drum tabs I shouldn't say decently, but well enough to know I know what to do. I just couldn't physically do it. And scratching tabs were the same. Literally, it's borrowed from drums. Literally, I think it was.
So they actually have tabs for
100%, absolutely.
Wow. I honestly, I thought scratching was just very freeform. I didn't know there was any kind of.
There's it's just like technically you have crab scratches, fades. Yeah, it's super.
Do you use any record, or is there a special record you have to use?
There's I prefer battle records personally, but there's a set of strings would be a piece of vinyl. So depending on what tone you want to go with, I'm a huge resonator slide guitar blues fanatic. And that's just my thing. I'm not a huge into rock. I'm not huge into I just for whatever reason gravitate towards bluegrass, but cool. and slide blues, Robert Johnson stuff, and what the fuck, C60, just crazy stuff like that. So that's my strings, that's my skill set, and those are the strings I tend to go with. But I've got buddies in terms of records that I'll take South Park and just digitize it and throw it in my Pioneers and just make an entire hilarious song out of South Park samples. But I've got friends that will DJ Raw Skills, one of my good buddies. You ever see the movie Indian in the Cupboard?
No. Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yep. So Lightfoot, that actor, he's a rapper. Lightfoot, his DJ, and then Chase Manhattan both recorded in my studio, which is a crazy. I had at the time I didn't know who the fuck they were. I'm like, these assholes showed up thinking they know their own shit. Turns out they do. But I've watched DJ Raw Skills murder a Robert Johnson vinyl, and he didn't just use it to scratch with. He juggled it to the point where it was a new Robert Johnson song.
That's cool.
Inspired by hip hop, but it wasn't even hip hop. It was just right. And I respect anybody who can do a craft and can do it well.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I don't care what genre it's in. I don't care what it is you do, but if you can do something really well, that is awesome.
Yeah. I would totally agree with you on that, man.
No, we've talked to you in terms of a TV studio and stuff. We were talking about commercials and things that you've done or are doing.
I have if you look on Vimeo and you look up Tony Britton Outer Banks, you'll find my Vimeo channel for my commercial business. I haven't put anything up there recently, but I do a lot of local commercials. It's a pretty small area, so they're not expecting much, but mine come out really good. So I do some real estate videos. I did a fishing show. There's a couple episodes on there from that. Here on the Outer Banks called the Outer Banks Angler, where one of the episodes we did a bluefin tuna. Easy for me to say, but that was a really cool trip. I got to catch one, so mine was about
That's super cool.
150, 175 pounds. When you're not a commercial fisherman, though, you're only allowed to keep one per boat. So you have 6 people on the boat. They're all going to fish. So you just keep the first one, because bluefin, you're only allowed to keep one, so you don't know if you're going to get another.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It's like women.
The one that we kept, I think, was 150 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot like women. You got to keep the first one that you follow. Otherwise, soon after that, you're just reeling them in. And you're like, it's not like the last one.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did that. I've done a lot of stuff here. Wedding videos. I stopped doing wedding videos after my wife and I got married, which, was 22, 23 years in the making. People roll their eyes like, what? My wife and I dated for 22, 23 years because, like I say, I worked in radio and I had to move every 4 years. I did not, in my mind, I looked at it like, if I marry her, then she has to move. If she's my girlfriend, it's up to her. You know what I mean? So after 22, 23 years, finally got married. And that was the last wedding video. No, I did maybe 2 after that. But I was like, that was my opus, man.
Yep. I get it. Oh, I won't DJ weddings unless, like, if you're a good friend of mine, I'll DJ the wedding. But aside from that, like, I'm a club DJ. I'm a battle DJ. Like I DJ for the art of it, not for. I hate DJing.
Question for you then. Question for you then. So, what's going for you now? What are you going to do? I mean, not too many club DJ battles going on right now, are there?
No, you're right. But club DJ is different than battle DJ. You can do on live streams. But that's never been my main. Like, that was my main. That's what got me into hip hop. But that was never my, like, once I started doing it, I realized I wasn't a fan of what made money. Does that make sense? Then I was like, okay, I'll take a different avenue. Before that, I was a graffiti artist. I still am to this day. Like, graffiti to me is, I love art in general. But then and then beatboxing, and then that's what led me into hip hop, and that's what paid bills. And I was like, okay, but then from hip hop and rap and writing music, then was YouTube. This is it. Like, this is my daily job, right? Like, I have 3 jobs: make her happy, make sure my kids are alive when she gets home, and YouTube. And not just vape. I shouldn't even say that. I'm a born entertainer.
So I was just saying,
TikTok, like, Instagram, Snapchat specifically. Snapchat is like my toilet for entertainment. If you want to see all the shit that's not curated, it's Snapchat. You will see stuff on there that you'll cringe at. You will see moments that you probably shouldn't see. Instagram is curated, like, stories, and then TikTok is like where the big views come. That's like where I put my good Snapchats and good Instagram videos. I turn them into actual, like, content. And of course, the reviews on YouTube.
Well, I've been working my dog. I want my dog to be a social media influencer. So he's got his own Instagram. He's over 1,200 followers now, which is more than a lot of people I know.
100%.
Yeah. So, the idea for me, I was like, well, okay, I see that you can, people are getting sponsorships and stuff like that. So what about my dog? My dog's haircuts are $50 a month.
Holy shit.
That's more than my wife's haircut. So
that's crazy.
I'm like, what if he could pay for his own haircut? So I'm working it, I'm like, I'm talking to Chewy and stuff like that. So
you and me have started.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
that's about you.
Most of them for sponsorships are like, he's got to get to 5,000 or more. I'm like, well, That's gonna be hard to do, man. It's a dog. You know?
I was gonna say, like, unless he's the cutest dog on the planet.
He's pretty cute. I mean,
I believe it. So what's his handle?
His handle is at Luke the Peekapoo.
That's adorable.
Luke the Peekapoo.
What breed is he?
He's a Peekapoo, so he's half poodle, half Pekingese. Here, I'll pull it up here so you can see.
That's adorable. So you and me do the same thing. I have an addiction to truff. Like I'm a chili head, so like I love hot stuff. But truff is like my favorite but online bought brand, and I can't afford. Oh my gosh, look at this. Okay, can we make sure she's focused in?
Wait, I'm gonna pull up one here.
Pull up a picture.
Go ahead, keep talking.
So I can't afford my truff sauce addiction. It's $20 a bottle. I go through 6 bottles a month. So I literally made a cooking channel on Instagram, a cooking
there you go.
account called Paper Plate Mafia. I think we're at 460 followers, and we just started a few months ago, so I'm excited. Let's see.
Yeah, look at this one.
Bam! Oh my god!
My goodness!
If you don't follow him,
Well, don't say anything so it can be on there. You can't say anything.
Let's see what else.
I'm gonna pin you quick. If you don't follow him, you're not. Oh my god!
Superhero.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
That's pretty cute.
I'm looking for the one where he has
face,
he has a couple of outfits like mine. So hold on here. Yes, I dressed my dog up.
We should start dressing Tank up.
I'm like, if he could make some money, look at that. Here, hold on.
Oh my
get
goodness.
The camera there.
Oh, you guys match.
Oh my gosh, dude. Y'all are adorable.
Oh my god, that's really freaking cute. That's really cute.
So I figure if I could get him to make a little bit of money, well, you know, unfortunately, that's under the Tony B project umbrella. See, that's the corporation, and he is one of my projects. So being one of my projects, you know, if I want to buy him clothes and stuff like that, well, I got to write that off.
Yeah.
I got to figure out because I I lapsed on my LLC in my corporation, so now I have to do taxes as a contractor, subcontractor.
Yes, and you know where that sucks?
Why?
This is how it happens. Okay, if you're an S corp or an LLC, it's a pass through, so you're only paying your self-employment taxes on the money that you are paid in a salary, right? But once you have to do it as a contractor, all of it is what you have to do self-employment taxes on.
Well, how do I write stuff up? Because like 90% of the money I make goes back into shit.
Right. Well, you're still going to be able to write it off if you itemize. As a, oh, you cut out. Wait, I don't hear you. Hold on a second here.
Chicken rotisserie chicken.
Hold on.
Oh my god, is that our internet?
I can hear you guys. You guys blanked out for a minute.
I was gonna say, it says your internet is unstable. I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. I can just see him laughing.
Babe, I'm super Italian.
It took a while.
I was gonna say I'm getting Italian, and I've been feeling it, but now it's the point of no return. Where tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up real late. I think it's gonna be like 7:30 or 8 before I'm awake.
That's late. Okay.
That's what time do you wake up? I'm up at 5:30, bro.
I'm usually up by about 7:30 or 8.
Yeah, that's me.
That's Mandy.
Yeah.
That's a perfect Mandy time.
I'm like, no reason to get up in here. You know, I did mornings and radio though for 10 years. So for 10 years, I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh,
because you don't want to listen. I'm gonna tell you, if you got to be on the radio, you don't want to have to go poop, right? So,
Tony,
I would get up early and make sure that I completely cleared the deck, and then read the paper. You know, do your stuff in the morning, some Mountain Dew, and then I had to act like I was happy at 6 o'clock in the morning. And half the time, I was not happy at 6 o'clock in the morning when I cracked that mic.
I'm convinced that we were separated at birth. So listen, I wake up at 5:30.
So if we've got like a 6 a.m. flight somewhere, I have to have him up between 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
because I need a 2-hour poop.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be
I play blackjack in the morning. Legitimate black. I fucking check my social media. Snapchat, I'm sorry, I can't reply to everybody. I appreciate your support, but at the same time, sometimes you guys send weird shit. I don't want to see guys' buttholes opening up and closing. That's fucking weird.
No, I
Dude,
don't
my
wanna see-
Snapchat is a dirt. Listen, picture the grossest porta potty you've ever seen at a state fair. That's my Snapchat. I get sent shit on Snapchat you can't find on heavyr.com. Okay. You just can't.
Okay, well, I'm not on Snapchat then.
I will
because-
give you my password one of these days on Snap. You'll get it. And it'll entertain you for weeks.
Yeah, that's funny.
Now, with that said, the only reason why I wake up there, I don't get moving. Like on my good days, bro, the other day when I recorded 3 reviews in a day, I was up, I was like actually like showered and in the studio by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That is insane. Usually I'll be up by 5:30 and I'm not in the studio till 9:30, sometimes 10.
11.
Yeah.
Because I've cut mine back now to 3 a week because I feel like, you know what, I'm not just gonna keep forcing out videos if it's not great stuff, or I mean some of it's not great that I get, but I'm like, well, it's worth putting on. But I figure if I do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that carries the week through. That's good consistency for the content. And sometimes I'll film 3 of them on a Monday and edit them through the week.
That blows my mind.
Nice.
Like I wish I could just talk.
Stuff, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're also making a living from multiple. If it wasn't for Blackjack, dude, Blackjack and YouTube have paid and Patreon, not YouTube. I've made like $11 this month on YouTube.
Right.
Aside from like Super Chat, it's all Patreon and legitimately Blackjack.
Well, it was pretty sad for me because I finally did my quarterly for the first and second quarter. I was like, that was not good. But hey, that's okay, man. You know what? I got a new product coming, and hopefully people like it as much as I do. Hopefully everything works out great.
And with that said, you motherfuckers go and buy the Pulse 2, and then you got to buy the Pulse 2X with that's the Thesis and Tony B project. We're gonna call that the TTB, the TTB V2.
Do you use billet boxes at all? Are you into those?
So you listen to my face.
You're not.
I own one of the prototype billet boxes. See my finger? Can you right here?
Really?
Right there. Huge shout out to Justino. He sent it to me, and it's got things like Italian made by some guy who's not alive anymore. God bless him. We'll ghost hunt him eventually. It's got like doors made by his like third offspring. It's got like I don't know what a bridge is. A bridge is made by like I don't know.
The bridge is the RBA that goes inside there.
Okay, but I am a .mod MTL fanatic.
Dude, I use the hell out of these things.
Nonstop at all times in the studio, in front of me as I'm editing. This is one of my go-tos.
Do you have the dot show?
Of course I do. Huge shout out to Bailey on the Patreon page for sending it to me. Hey, so are we gonna clone the dot mod? Oh my god, Tony, let's fucking clone it, bro.
Well, I already had the PAL 2. It was pretty close.
No, listen, I'm gonna be really honest with you. I've enjoyed the Pulses, and I've enjoyed all of your products. The PALs, all of them.
I loved them.
Couldn't, which is I fucking hope so. They're your product.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying I couldn't figure
They
them
weren't
out.
working for you. Yeah.
I simply couldn't figure them out. The PAL, I had all 3 of them. There's 3 of them, correct?
I only made the PAL 2 and the PAL 2 Pro. The other ones were not mine.
Oh, well then it has nothing to do with you then. The other ones were.
Here's what happened is that they had the PAL 1 and the PAL 1 Pro or whatever, and they wanted to do a project with me. They wanted to know what I would do to make the PAL better. And I said, well, your problem is that you're copying a billet box. It's just straight up a copy. It's just smaller.
The difference is though, a billet box costs $500, Tony.
I know, but no, they don't. But the other problem was that their version of the Boro tank was horrible. And I was like, it leaks. It's just not good. So I said, why don't you just do the same style, make it smaller, put a little pod in there. Everybody's using pod systems right now. I think it would work good, but I needed to have a 0.60 mesh coil because I want to use it the way I want to use it. I don't want it to be a tight little mouth to lung thing, but I want you to make a coil that is that way. So I thought it came out pretty good.
This is why I love the dot mod over the billet. Well, no, I can't say that. I've never used my billet box. It's like a collector piece to me.
Yeah.
Because I am a 0.30 mesh whore, straight MT. I'm a old school. I started on MTL. My daily vape is not. My daily vape is 101 watts at 0.15 ohms, pure menthol, pure unflavored, just it's like you're vaping on Satan's dick. Like it's just razor blades and toilet bowl cleaner in your throat. I want throat hit. But my other daily, ask Mandy, we go out to Home Depot, we go to fucking the hardware store. I have an MTL 55 milligram jewel mint Nick salt, 0.30 mesh. It feels like a protest that is rioting in the back of your throat. It's so harsh. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
My
favorite right now is this. This is what I've been vaping a lot of, aside from
what is
the stuff.
Apple Bomb?
Yeah, this is the Apple Bomb from VGod. It's 25 milligrams. It's a little strong, but in here, this is a 0.5 ohm coil, and I've got it only on the second light.
Mm-hmm.
And it works just perfectly.
And that's a direct to the lung, huh? That you rock?
Not really. I mean, this is the dot shell, 0.5 ohm. It's just a Canthal coil, 5 wraps. It's a simple thing. And I have one airflow hole closed on that one.
Yeah, mine's completely closed with the smaller air thing.
Like I say it all the time. What I don't like a vape that's like I'm sucking through a coffee stirrer straw. I can't stand it, and I feel like I'm like.
It's the way that like I grew up. I did 13 years old, so I smoked 3 packs of Cool Hundreds like that. MTL, like it feels like a cigarette, like, and then you know, that's my shit.
Yeah,
Manny, do you have any questions for Tony? No. If you haven't done so, is the Pulse 2 pre-order?
On pre-order at 2 sites that I know of, myvpro.com and
don't say .com. Do not fucking shit. That's all right. MyVPro and
and the Best Vape.
And the Best Vape. Bam.
Yeah, sorry about that. Algorithm.
It's not your fault. I accidentally said .com earlier, so it's the algorithm. If they're gonna fuck you when they can, dude. Doesn't matter if you say anything .com. They'll flag it and then they'll watch it and then it's gone. So with that said, this is basically a limited edition live stream.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Cool. Guys,
follow Luke the Peekapoo.
What is it again?
Luke the Peekapoo.
Luke the Peekapoo.
Yeah, it's LUKETHEPEEK poo. Peekapoo.
That's difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I know it is, but
I'm sure Melissa's got it up there for us.
Melissa, my soldiers have already got the links out for you, bro.
Okay, good. Awesome.
And then follow Paper Plate Mafia on Instagram. If you guys, the slogan is
Mike's gonna do this.
I follow it.
Oh shit! That we got to do a giveaway, guys.
Drawing.
A drawing. If bougie ass food on a paper plate budget. Okay, that's how I grew up. Paper Plate Mafia. Okay, this is the Vandy Vape Soleil mod right here. A Tony B project. It is fantastic. $5 tier and up on Patreon. I think we only have I shouldn't say only. We are at 100 patrons, around thereabouts. Thank you guys so much for the support. This is for you, and we're going to be doing another one very shortly. I can't tell you what it is, but it's a treat day especial. So with that said, Mike, can you please, sir, in the Discord, go ahead and post that shit. Bam.
Man, you got all kinds of balls in the air, man. Discord, Patreon.
Well, the Discord's only accessible via the Patreon, and my OnlyFans.
It's basically the chat. For Patreon.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now we do have a secret group on Instagram. Once you are a OG on Patreon, you will be invited to the Instagram secret chat.
Oh my God.
Well, you know what it is. Nice boobs.
All right, Sarah.
Sorry.
Sarah won.
Sarah won.
Yep.
Congratulations, Sarah. Congratulations. I don't know what else to tell you. Fucking A. Son of a bitch.
It is.
And Sarah, thank you so much for fucking, fuck it. Tony B, you made a great product. I'm sad that I didn't review this. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't review it because I didn't get it till literally a month and a half ago. So
I'm going to make sure you get one of the new ones here, even if I have to send you one myself.
I hope to God you have to send it. I want it to be signed and serial numbered, please. Sorry.
And I'll get a silver Sharpie.
Let me ask you a question.
What's that?
Do you wear your wedding ring on purpose?
Yeah, I guess.
Mine's always there in the studio, but I lose it. And I do a lot of DIY project with saws and things of that nature.
Dude. Yeah, one of my rings is titanium, and it's like I'm like, man, if you smash your hand with that, you're kind of screwed. Yeah. So.
And I've already put drill bits through my fingers. Geek Vape Karma Mech Mod kit. I have the whole thing on camera, putting a 5/16 inch speed drill bit through my wedding ring finger actually, and through the other side, and I had to reverse it back out. So. If you're in a gore,
rings only go on when a watch goes on.
Yes, rings go. Well, I was gonna say I have rubber ones, but I lost my black one. I can't find it, so we'll find it soon. But that said, Tony, thank you so much for being on, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
100%. Everybody watching, thank you guys so much. Oh, dude, 100%. And I know that I talked. A lot of the militia was asking about your help. You know what? Fuck it. Let's take 5 more minutes. That's it. It was the day that I was gonna die that you almost let me die. Listen, so. To discuss the barrage a little bit, the Pulse, was it the V2? Was it the Pulse 2? What's the one with the inserts, the ultimate inserts?
That's the Pulse V2.
Okay, so I was right. So Pulse V2. So I'm literally, I thought I was gonna have to call an ambulance. I'm on my way home from the doctor, and my fingers start going numb at the very tips, and I'm driving, and I'm at the crack stand, right by the crack stand, and my heart is palpitating. I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. I just thinking about it's freaking me out. And I make it home. I was just a couple miles from my house, the crack stand, and I'm sitting. If you don't think my anxiety is already bad enough, and with whatever sickness I had, all of a sudden Instagram pops up, and guess what's there? It's the Tony B Pulse 2. Now, the original initial idea of my RDA in 2015 was literally, aside from there was no inserts, it was just tubes, it was called the V1.
Yeah.
The original, because it was 2 tubes, looked like a V8 motor, like 2 tubes like pistons.
Right.
And the coil was dead center. The moment I saw that, my heart sank, and I thought I was having a second heart. Meanwhile, Mandy's kicking my body on the floor. She's laughing at me.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, like, you have the man flu. Like, that's not true. I don't have the man flu. I'm actually dying. You don't even care.
Yeah.
So I fucking get up on the futon. I gotta call Tony. He's gonna think I cloned it. And I called Tony up. This is a true story, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did I tell you? I'm like, dude.
Yeah. He was like, man, we got to talk about this thing, because I swear I was working on something. I'm like, well, calm down. Tell me what's up. Yeah.
Very dissimilar to other reviewers. He was calm, and he was like, hey,
it's okay, man.
I get it. Things happen. People come up with similar ideas. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, Tony was gracious enough to help work me through that situation and gave me ideas. I love Mike Vapes. And he probably made the right decision, for him. But like, I went to Mike Vapes before. I was like, hey man, I want to show you something. I'm gonna bounce some ideas off you. He's like, I'd really rather not. And that hurt my feelings, but I couldn't take it personally. But it's because I get it. From a business standpoint, what if he was working on something similar, and all of a sudden I could then accuse him of, you know, which I get. I understand that thought process. I've always been an open. Not open borders. What's that called? I have no fucking boundaries. I have shitty boundaries. Yeah. I just want to talk about it. So, dude, I appreciate that first and foremost.
Yeah.
Secondly, very few people realize how much you helped in that very initial stage of where there was an actual physical rendition or being made.
Right.
Where asshole.
He sent me pictures and was like, well, what do you think of this? And I'm like, well, yeah, that would work. What, so that, that kind of thing. So as much help as you needed, I didn't mind. I'm like, hey, look, bottom line is if I can help somebody else out, then that's going to come back to me. You know what I mean?
100%. And I'm not going to name names, but there was a few other reviewers who asked for a fee that would, I don't know, buy a vehicle, like the amount of money they wanted for consulting. Yeah.
Hey, look, and I know because of my products and getting them out there onto channels. Yeah. Some there's been stuff where I'm like, what?
I'll tell you, prices right now. Rip Trippers cost $10K. Even with a company discount, it's like an $8,000. It's like, and listen, dude, I'm all for capitalism. I'm not a socialist or a communist. I love capitalism. But for us, the money came from our pockets. It didn't, that shit doesn't come from Asmos. It's like, fuck them. And I'm like, well, I would like it to be advertised, please. Let's figure it out. But I'm not going to come up with 10,000. Mandy, grab $10,000 out of savings. Let's go ahead and have Rip Trippers review our or not. I've got children to feed. Thank you. So I appreciate the fact that you were like, well, I'll talk to you about this, but here's my PayPal account first.
Oh,
no, I did. Like I tell everybody that wants to ask me questions like that, I'm like, just remember, I also do products. So, and I've helped a lot of people. Mainly they want to ask, like,
thank you, Will.
How do I approach the company, or what do I do when they ask for this? I'm like, well, first thing you do is never ever give them your designs until you have some kind of, even though it doesn't always work, but some kind of an agreement with them. You have to have some kind of a non-disclosure, and you draw it up. Don't let them do it. Have your attorney do it, and that kind of thing. So, because I've seen people that are like, dude, I sent this design to this company, and 3 months later they have something almost exactly like it. I'm like, it's hard to say. They might have been working on it, but you know what? If you sent it to them and you didn't have any repercussions, you're screwed. I got a tip for anybody that does want to do that kind of thing, and I told this to you as well. If somebody wants to work on something with you like that, a lot of people are in the vape community, they know the products, right? So if they do want to do that and you're having a hard time, what you do is you write up everything about the project, include pictures and all that kind of stuff, put it in an envelope, stamp it, send it to yourself.
It's called a poor man's copyright.
Yep. When you get
do it with music,
open it. Because if they then come out with one, you go, well, here you go, man. It's got a postmark on it and everything. That's my shit.
It's a poor man's trademark, and it's held up in court twice that I know of. In terms of music, I've never seen it with which is genius to do it with the product. Real quick, I got to give shout outs to Will Boyles. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Yanni, whoop, whoop. And then Chris Vapes 88. He says, tell McDonald's to reboot the router. Sir, if I could, I would tell CenturyLink to go fuck themselves. So this is constantly. And Will Boyles, thank you so much. Yanni, thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Again, all money is donated to charity. Again, full disclosure, that is the name of my truck. Aside from that, Tony, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, man.
Mike, before we go, stroke. Oh, go ahead.
And Mandy.
100%.
Stroke. My ears get hot. I have to take my headphones off for a while.
Baby, do you or Mike have any questions?
No.
Now, real quick, I'm going to open the chat for the next 60 seconds. Does the chat have any questions for Tony B himself? Man's a legend, and he's right here. We had 3,000 people watching earlier, and then all of a sudden, our fucking internet takes a shit.
Yeah, well.
Let's see. Sarah says, all vapors matter. Hell yeah. It's awesome to hear your story. I feel lot forgot to, I don't know what that says. VG man, thank you so much, Stanley. Thesis on all social media. Yep, 100% follow TikTok. Thesis himself, that one is blowing up. I think we're at 31,000 followers on there and like 1.1 million likes.
Nice.
I think we're around 8 million views, which is exciting. 7 million views, something like that. I think Melissa keeps better track than I do.
No, everybody's just saying it was a great show and they were glad to have Tony.
Awesome, appreciate it. Tony, dude, we gotta talk about some ghost stuff later, man.
Absolutely, dude.
All right, 100%.
You need to come out here and go fishing, and then we'll show you some pirate shit.
I would. Oh my god. So first of all, I'm the worst fisherman you've ever met. I'll tell you, I'm the best.
Yeah.
I'm what's called a Walmart pro staff fisherman. Okay, that's about it.
We'll go offshore though. See, if you go offshore, the mate does everything.
That's
they bait
scary.
it as soon as the fish is on the hook. They go grab that pole. You grab that pole and reel it in. Man.
That's my shit, babe. How come? Okay, you know what? Before we get into
You
that
just haven't
stuff,
done it right.
that's a second show right there. Okay, I'm gonna bring myself and my buddy Tyler. We're gonna come out.
Right.
We're gonna catch some pink fin tunas or whatever, and some rubber guppies.
We'll
Bubble
get some
guppies.
dolphin. We'll
Some
get some
fucking
dolphin. Out here,
dolphin
we love,
and some shark.
We love to get dolphin. Well, dolphin, the fish, not the mammal. See, dolphin is actually, well, a lot of people call it mahi-mahi, or they might call
I know
it
mahi-mahi. It's a swordfish, right?
dorado. No, it's a long blue and green fish. It's very beautiful, and it tastes good.
I'm a fan of fish.
Dolphin.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I used to do a deck party here for the radio station that I was at a restaurant, and a lot of tourists would be in there, and I'd be like, "All right, man, the best thing on the menu there is the dolphin fingers. Highly recommend it." And they'd look at me like, "What?" And I'd be like, "Don't worry about it. The dolphins are like lizards. We pull them into the boat, we break the fingers off, put them back in there. Within a couple weeks, they got the fingers." And they're looking at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, dolphin is mahi." Oh.
Labworks, yeah, Labworks down in Australia says mahi-mahi dorado gold bar.
Yep.
Is that with a bunch of names, or what? Is it the same thing?
Yeah, just people call it different things in different regions. But the actual species of fish is the dolphin fish.
No shit, I had no idea. Yeah. Minnesota is a very sought after state for fishing. We have over 11,000 something lakes, and world renowned for bass fishing. Now, I have it on film to prove that I sought out in that morning to show that I was the best bass fisherman. As it find out, me and my good buddy Tyler, we have tens of thousands of dollars in fishing gear. It's not ours, it's his dad's, whatever. And we caught 2 bass. And the 2 bass that I had initially caught, I'm going to be honest with you, was a bobber and a worm.
Yeah, and I was going to say, was it like a Barbie fishing pole?
Yeah, and well, no, he's got like he's a great fisherman. Again, Walmart pro staff. I catch sunnies all day. I'll fillet a sunny like a motherfucker. They're huge panfish. But bro, we spent all day searching for bass, all on a lake that has trophy bass. Like, it wasn't like we were like in a pond. We're talking about a 30,000 acre bass lake.
You had a reasonable expectation to catch some bass.
No, I was assured you can put your toe in the water and guaranteed a bass will eat it, is what I was told. Bro, we've been fishing on the veterans camp for years.
Yeah.
That weekend, it was 3 weeks before 4th of July. That weekend, I looked like a dumbass to my children. Do you know where we ended up by catching all the fish?
What?
The sunny spawning points. Do you know how sad it is for a man to have to catch parents, like parent sunfish? Yeah. They're at their nests just hanging out looking for food, and we have to catch them.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but they were huge, to be honest. They were giant, but I just don't want to tell anyone we caught them at the spawns, at the sunfish spawns, sunny spawns.
Yeah. I feel bad for the fish, man. Because we got a pier out here, and every night at sunset, everybody's out there fishing and crabbing and stuff. Sometimes, man, they'll pull that fish out and they just slap it on the deck, and it's looking at me, flopping. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. I'd like to come up with a device. Maybe I'll say, Vandegate, let's design something like this. But have a device that instantly kills the fish, that you just go, dunk,
100%.
Or you something, I don't know. Just kill it.
Yep.
Because that's messed up for it to sit there looking at you like, I can't breathe, bro.
Right, exactly. The ones here that not upset. It doesn't upset me. Listen, we're humans, we're mammals. It's just what happens. But
I know we're gonna eat it, but
exactly. But why does that take so long for them to suffocate? Is for me is catch and release it's upwards of 70% die depending on the fish. Yeah. Now here there's one of the biggest fish that are fished is walleye and muskie. Yeah. And they can be for freshwater fish, they're huge. We're talking like 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pound fish. Right. The problem is they're at such a depth that once you bring them to a specific depth, like say anything
Yeah.
above like 10 feet, they're whatever that inner ear thing that like you know the where
Bladder
you
in
can,
there.
yeah, immediately erupts. So yes, there's a quote unquote throw it back like season. The problem is when you throw it back, it doesn't know up or down.
Yeah.
So it can't. So yeah, you're throwing it back, but it still dies, and then that's just meat that goes to waste, in my opinion.
Well, the other fish will eat it. So
Well, which is good. You're 100% right. But I'll tell you what, I'm hungrier than that fucking Sunny that was sitting there. So
okay. All right, I gotta get going, man.
me too, bro. All right. Yep, Tony. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate the hell out of it, man.
All right, man. Absolutely, brother. I'll talk with you later.
100%. Love you guys. God bless. Mwah!
Adios.
Hey, Mike, do you remember how the fuck to stop this thing? Hold on, I'm not host. My phone is host. All right, guys. Love you guys. Mwah. Bitch, it's okay. Some other truckers now. With that being said, I appreciate you with these well.